Green Lantern number 16, written by Jeff Johns, art by Doug Mahnke. This is the next part of the Rise of the Third Army. And last issue we had Simon Baz and Agent Fed come out of an exploding building with a bunch of Third Army in it, and Green Lantern Bdig showed up, who's a squirrel. And so we pick up right there, and he's like, hey, you're a Green Lantern, don't recognize you. I was looking for Hal Jordan. He's like, oh, I don't know about that. And he's like, why is your ring empty? Why did you not fuel up? And he's like, I genuinely have no idea how to do the things you're talking about. And Bedig goes and touches the ring, and it spouts off Sinestro's, like, Hal's message face thing. And he's like, okay, that's weird. Where's your lantern? And Simon's like, I don't know. And he's like, okay, I'm going to go put out this fire, and then I'm going to get you to your lantern, and we're going to sort all this out. So Simon turns to Agent Fed, and he's like, hey, so all that evidence inside the house proves I was innocent. And Agent Fed's like, all that evidence inside the house is on fire. But I agree, you are innocent. So I will talk to my superiors and see what we can do. You go with the talking chipmunk. And so they shake hands and go on their way. And we see that Agent Fed calls up Amanda Waller for something. So we cut to the Coast City Cemetery, where, of course, Hal and Sinestro died. Green Lantern Bedig talks to a local squirrel who points him in the right direction. And they pick up the Green Lantern, and he just explains the whole thing of, like, you use this, you recharge, it's a direct route to the central power battery back on Oa. You just got to say the oath, and he tells him what the oath is, and Simon charges back up his ring. And he's like, wow, I feel great, that's fantastic. And Simon goes and he holsters this gun, and Bedig's like, we don't really use other things besides our rings. And it's like, so what happens when the ring runs dry? Nothing, we just don't let our rings run dry. And Simon's like, that's stupid. Everything can run out of bullets. I'm going to keep a backup. So at this point, they try to open up the message from Hal and Sinestro, and Bedig tells them, like, no, it's like tangled. You got to think about untangling it and will it into just two separate messages. And he does so, and Hal and Sinestro is standing in front of him, and he's like, okay, who are these guys? And it's like, well, Hal's the greatest Green Lantern, and Sinestro's a dick. So let's start with Hal's message. And Hal says, like, hey, Guardians went crazy. I'm hoping that this ring finds somebody cool. Just know that we may be trapped in Black Hand's ring. Also, go find Carol Ferris and tell her I love her. And then he's like, all right, that works. Sinestro, what about you? And Sinestro's like, go find Arkillo. He's loyal to me and he'll save my life. I literally care nothing about you. And they're like, cool, great messages. So Bedig explains, like, Simon asks how it's possible that they even shared these messages, and Bedig explains, like, anything you can imagine is pretty much possible with the ring. You just have to will it. And Simon just gets that thought in his head. He's like, anything is possible? And Bedig's like, yeah, totally. Anyway, we're going to go do Hal's thing because Sinestro, once again, is a dick. So let's go find where Carol Ferris is, probably in deep space. And Simon says, well, hold on. You're saying this is Hal's ring. You're saying I'm probably going to have to give it back when we find him. If so, there's one thing we need to do while I'm still on Earth. And he calls up his sister and says, hey, get to your husband's hospital room. So she goes to the hospital. She sees her husband lying there, still comatose. Simon comes in through the window and is like, okay, hi, yes, we already met, but I'm still a Green Lantern now. I can fly. Bedig's here. He's a talking squirrel. Anyway, I can do literally anything. And I'm going to bring Nazir back to life. Like, I'm going to get him out of his coma. And Bedig, he hears all this and he's like, that's not really how the rings, like, that's not a thing that's possible. Like, you can make things that are possible. You can't, like, bring back people. And he's like, watch me. So he starts blasting at Nazir, and some nurses notice, like, there's some creepy green light coming out of that room. So they, looking through the windows, like, oh, wait, that guy's a terrorist. We should probably call security. So now they're on a ticking clock. Nazir's still not waking up, and Bedig's like, no, seriously, like, this is not possible. Like, no Green Lantern can do that. But he, like, really wants it, so he keeps on pushing, and he's like, come on, I can do it. And finally he's like, I have seen so much unbelievable crap over the last few days, and you're telling me that this is where the line is drawn? Bull. I'm going again. And he pushes, and his, like, eyes start bleeding. He's got this huge energy field around him. And then finally the ring conks out and nothing happens. And Bedig's like, I'm sorry. This is, like, a lesson you got to learn as a lantern, that yes, a lot of things are possible, but not like everything. And he's crying and he's upset about it. His sister is like, look, you're not to blame for him being in a coma. This isn't your fault. I forgive you. Everything's fine. And of course, then Nazir wakes up and he's like, hey, what's going on? Why you wearing that weird getup, Simon? And everyone's all happy and hugging and they're great. And Bidig's like, okay, well, guess I was wrong. And he looks over at a nearby TV as security starts like about to break down the door, and he sees there's a report that Guy Gardner is on Earth and has gotten arrested. And Bidig's like, I'm sorry, Guy's on Earth without his ring and he's currently in jail? That smells fishy. Hey, Simon, we got to go make one more pit stop beforehand. Simon's like, hey, man, well, I just saved my brother-in-law, so I'll do whatever. So he flies out of the room, and Bidig's like, okay, but like for real, you maybe are more important than just a replacement if you're able to do things like that. So we're going to keep an eye on you for a little bit. And then we get the one-page epilogue of what are Hal and Sinestro doing? And they're still following the hooded figure through the dead zone. And Hal's like, hey, if you want us to follow you, we need to know who you are. And hooded figure's like, fair enough. And he pulls off his hood and he's like, hi, I'm Tomar Ray. I was the first Lantern you ever met, Hal. And Sinestro, you're kind of the reason I'm dead. Turns out Rise of the Third Army is a stupid event and doesn't really matter. We need to look forward to the next event, which is the first Lantern. So get ready for that. So yeah, it's I think this is a super solid issue of showing Simon off. I think it is a good thing to say, here's why Simon is more important than just the guy in between the other times Hal is wearing it. So did a great job there. Art-wise, fantastic. I really don't have many bad things to say about this issue at all. No, it's genuinely just a fun time. I'm going to give this one I'm going to give it an 8.5. I really do enjoy it. I think this is a high point for Simon so far, and I look forward to seeing where he continues in the next part of the event. So, yeah.